Right, the big news of the week, obviously, is that the game on Sunday is on. And when I say the game, I mean the game. Capital T, H, and E. Pakistan against India will take place in Colombo on Sunday as originally scheduled. To discuss the ramifications of that and how it may have happened, we're joined once again by ESPNCricinfo's Bangladesh correspondent and a friend of this program, Mohammad Isam. Isam, was it just a power play by the PCB? Was it always going to take place, or were you nervous? I think I was.
Uh, I honestly wasn't that nervous because they were giving inklings or leaking news that this could happen again, even like 4 or 5 days ago, even before the meeting that took place in Lahore last week or earlier this week, when the ICC's vice chairman Imran Khaja, the PCB president Aminul Islam, arrived in Lahore in a dramatic turn of events that the ICC sent there number two, essentially, to meet with the Pakistan Cricket Board's chairman. So, I mean, it wasn't a huge surprise that this was going to turn around at some point. I think we are lucky that it didn't turn around on the day before the game. Where we have a little breathing space. Even the players have a little breathing space before reaching Colombo.
Yeah, I'm honest. I mean, me and you must be amazed that it didn't just happen the day before with the amount of cricket we've seen throughout all of our careers. That incidences like this. I mean, it's given them some time to hopefully digest and realize that for the good of the game. But it wasn't just Bangladesh that was involved in the ICC. How important is it that the other cricket nations around that region, Sri Lanka, obviously the UAE, is especially because they've got franchise leagues as well, that this game does go ahead and we don't start getting even further distance between Pakistan and India.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the names that requested the PCB to play this game. You have Sri Lanka, obviously, they were hosting this game and they're looking at huge losses if this game didn't turn up. If Pakistan didn't turn up in Colombo on that day. Obviously, UAE uh, hosts Pakistan and India a number of times, and they have the league, the ILT20. I mean, there's so many things involved in this whole calculation that you'll have to consider all of these factors. Bangladesh obviously stepped in, uh, which actually helped them the most because the PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board, actually used Bangladesh as the main leverage to get them some sort of restitution in this really huge mess that they are in. It's actually a win-win situation for Bangladesh in a way, at least with the ICC, that there's not going to be any penalties, and they have now got they were supposed to get a 2031 co-hosting rights. I think it was written already, but 2028 it's going to be an under 19 World Cup in Bangladesh. So that's a boost for Bangladesh in a way.
Trying to look at the good that might have come out of this situation. Yes, Bangladesh have been assured that there'll be no penalties, financial or any other sort, which I find slightly ironic because Bangladesh were thrown out of the tournament. They didn't refuse to participate. They
Yeah.
requested not to play in India. But um, the other, I don't know whether this can be painted as a silver lining, but it is interesting to me how many people, and probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, who weren't aware before of the fragility of the structure, the ecosystem of the international game, have now become aware of it. That every cricket journalist has had to write about finances and politics over the last 10 days, which some have found easier than others. But Pakistan's the only team that manages to survive without bilateral cricket tours by India. And it almost looks as if, they were trying to point out to the rest of the world just how unhealthy their reliance is on the BCCI.
Absolutely, Neil. I think what this negotiation actually did is open the eyes of the rest of the world, as you have mentioned. And I think the negotiation itself the negotiations itself is a form of protest. I mean, a form of victory for PCB that, they could get someone from the ICC to take them seriously, to send someone to Lahore and sort this thing out. I mean, uh, if the ICC didn't play those cards, God knows what would have happened. I mean, we wouldn't have been looking at a February 15th match, and what were the implications for the ICC. And now it's very clear that there are big implications from just one match, and how how ridiculous that is. I mean, you guys have pointed it out very well, but how ridiculous it is that a country like Bangladesh, desperate for getting themselves out of this mire, but at the same time understanding that the India-Pakistan match is so big that it brought this into the equation as well. And then they were the first ones. I mean, Islam was the first one to request in the flurry of press release yesterday evening. I think you guys have seen that there were four in the space of an hour or 90 minutes. First from the BCB, then the ICC acknowledged the BCB, then one again from, I think, the PCB gave a statement, and then you have the ICC acknowledging the whole situation. I think in the middle it was the government of Pakistan who tweeted that they're going to play in Colombo. So in all of this, the request from the Bangladesh Cricket Board was play this game for the sake of the ecosystem of cricket. That just goes to show how fragile international cricket is and how much it now depends on one match, and whether there is now a scope for answer, asking that question, that should the ICC be restructured in an absolutely basic way so that cricket becomes a more equitable sport finally.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. I mean, from an ICC point of view, they're probably saving what they were talking about, an estimated 150 million this game was going to be worth. Have me and Manners keep talking about adults in the room and try and keeping politics out of it, and it's hard to keep politics out of it. We know for a fact you can't really. But are we on the cusp of potentially having, cricket governments looking into the possibility of trying to keep the politics arm to one side? In India, Pakistan being a long time away from playing each other in bilateral, but could this be the watershed moment, the first step where cricket in the region of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan starts to become as healthy as it probably was in the sort of 80s and 90s?
Well, as I said, this is the first such example. The PCB has tried a few things in the past. It didn't work. The trophy thing didn't work. A lot of these gestures. I mean, there were talks about maybe Pakistan haggling for a series in India, maybe for the handshakes to come back, but those are not official points. Those are not talking points apparently. So the PCB has completely used Bangladesh's case as being the reason the reason that it's an unfair game, and then the rest has happened. Whatever happened on on that day when all of these things started to slowly pan out from Lahore. Yeah, this is a good starting point for an equitable cricket. But I think also what we feel in the subcontinent that England and Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand, they have to step up now, because I understand that these are, I mean, England and Australia are part of the big three. Statements from them, or I mean, not putting pressure on India, but just a general uh, supportive nature of these boards could have helped in this situation. But they left it to ICC, PCB, and BCCI, Bangladesh Cricket Board. That is absolutely fine. But going forward, I think world cricket deserves these voices to come up, these voices to be raised, and make sure that when an ICC meeting takes place, a lot of these things are discussed.
Just finally, a point to both of you actually is I don't normally respond to hate mail, but every time, and I know that you will both have experienced it, every time we appear to be criticizing the BCCI, we do get some pretty fruity correspondence. And India do, as I said, unhealthy reliance on the BCCI and bilateral cricket tours by India. Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Bangladesh. the West Indies, Zimbabwe. They all survive for 2 or 3 years on the back of an incoming tour from the Indian team. And credit to the BCCI for sending teams to countries that do rely on them. And we should make that point. Alongside that point is the fact that India needs a strong global game, doesn't it? I mean, it's the sort of international mother body, but they can't just play IPL all year.
Yeah, India does send their teams. I mean, Bangladesh has had incoming tours, a number of incoming tours actually. They have one in September this year scheduled, a T20 series and ODI series that'll just pay the bills in the BCB for a number of years. That being said, it is also now time for these cricket boards, I would say the smaller cricket boards, to figure out a way to make sports more sustainable, the game of cricket more sustainably run in these countries. I think the BCB, for a number of years, they were far too reliant on this India tour, and they still are. I think this incident over the Mustafi's withdrawal and then not going to India, this will freeze relations between the two cricket boards at least. I mean, we are neighbors. Bangladesh is surrounded on three sides by India, so it's hard to ignore India. But when it comes to cricket, it's been a helpful hand in the sense that these tours have really been helpful, and also how India sends their best team to Bangladesh almost always. Interestingly, India hasn't won an ODI series in Bangladesh since 2014. They've lost a number of times, so I think that's another factor which I think BCCI also appreciates, that it's a competitive series when they come to Bangladesh on many occasions. So I think it's time for these boards to also have a retrospective, at least a self-awareness program of how they can manage their cricket boards a little better. It can come to any country, it can happen anywhere. There can be conflicts, there can be political misunderstandings, which can lead to these incidents in the future. I think Manners and I was just talking off air that this could be just the start of many such incidents. So to avoid these things, I think not just BCCI, we cannot put everything. All responsibilities cannot be with the BCCI. The other cricket boards should also step up and take responsibility of themselves.